Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Subhash Thakrar. I was born in Uganda, so I'm Ugandan by birth. Got my primary education in Kakira and Jinja. I came here as a refugee in 1972, and I'm now the past chair of the London Chamber of Commerce, and have been instrumental in taking trade missions to East Africa, and of which the King saw the value of what I did, and that is where I was recognized with an OBE. It is to do with promoting African business. So that's something to keep in mind. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much to our panelists.
Hello.
All right. Thank you, Subhash. Yeah, so you can carry on from there. So what are some of the key lessons that we can learn?
I'll carry on from there, but your theme is how can we help with the financing of
growth.
Business.
And where does
I'm going
to
give my comments and divide into two sections. One is at a macro level. At a macro level, I think Africa can do a lot by just looking at what India has done. I remember a few years ago, the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, was visiting London, and it was an amazing experience that I had. I was the chair of the London Chamber. It's a very interesting story. I met him one-to-one, and at that time, nobody was investing in India. There was hardly any interest in India. India was not growing, and he's here telling me that please invest in India. And I said, but where? Where would we invest? And you know what he did? He gave me a brochure like this from his case and said, here are all the evaluated projects in India that we have identified, and we've got the top firms of accountants like PwC and KPMG who have also done some homework on each one of them. And each one of them is divided into the level of investment. You want to invest $5 million? Here's 3 projects that you can take a look at. And you know, he was the CEO of India. And that's an interesting example. And look at where India has grown. Indian economy is got the similarities to African economy, but Africa has got even more potential, in my opinion. As Lord Poppert was saying, you got in Africa various natural resources, and young people who are very bright. And if you go to Africa, you will realize that. I go to Africa regularly, and I see that there are some really good people able to very digital in their approach and thinking. So the potential is there, but what is missing is the understanding in the other parts of the world about what that potential of Africa is. And hence the point I made to Lord Poppert about having trade envoys from Africa visiting the rest of the world and educating the rest of the world. Remember that I'm sitting in London. Our focus for looking at investment is not just Africa. It's India, it's Europe, it's US, various places where our minds get focused on. Now, how does somebody bring Africa into the focus? Only by repeatedly telling people that this is where great potential exists. Investor in Uganda, I know what it is. Yes, there are problems in investing in Africa. Bureaucracy is one of them. We've touched on that earlier. And so now my second part, which is to be more focused on how can SMEs and business people based in Africa running an enterprise, and how can they finance and run the business. One idea that you should think about is to set up a company in UK. UK companies find it a lot easier to finance, whether their projects are in Africa or anywhere else. But as long as you're based in UK and you've got a presence here, and it's very easy to form a UK company, you know, within a day you can have a company of your own, and it can cost you less than £1,000 per day. So that is something, as soon as you have presence in UK, you have access to a lot of sources of funding that you could explore and look at. Trade finance is another one. We have Gentleman from Euro-Exim Bank, please raise your hand. There you are. That bank is active in trade finance in between Africa and UK and other parts of the world. I think, I can't remember how many countries they have got presence in, but about 200 countries there is a presence of. So there is a way of finance, and what is Africa doing today? Africa is exporting, wants to export agricultural products, other products, and that is where you need trade finance, and trade finance is available. And the third example I must say is we have a giant of a man sitting in this room with us, Sudhir Ruparelia, born Ugandan, came to UK, then went back to Uganda. He's a billionaire in his own right. Now, you ask him, and Sudhir, I'm going to ask you directly, have you raised any money from UK? Have you needed to do it? No, there you are. See, this is an example where if you can be successful in Africa and do really well, and you don't need to be coming out internationally for funding. You know, you just need to apply your minds and work on it. So opportunities are there, and we got a deputy governor of the Bank of Uganda. He can guide you on how funds can be raised locally. But these are really good, simple things that one should be able to do. And don't ever think you don't have the potential. I think African organizations and the potential for Africa is enormous. It is not understood well. And people like Willie Mutenza, is Willie here?
Yes,
Willie
yes.
was here. Is Willie? Okay, Willie Mutenza started this kind of initiative to educate people about Uganda and other African potential. And I think this is long may it continue, because this is where we can have more exchange of ideas and thoughts.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Final
my answer is all three. You don't need to exclude anything. But more importantly, Africa can look at leapfrogging. You don't need to go to the original phones now. People are going straight away into digital phones. So do the same with everything else, including education, as we heard from Richard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right.